From deep in the heart of Texas, it's On Second Thought, powered by Hook'em.com. Hosted since 2016 by your favorite sports columnists, Cedric Golden of the Austin American-Statesman and Kirk Bohls of the Houston Chronicle. Let's do it, fellas.
This is On Second Thought, powered by Hook'em.com. Cedric Golden here with the Duck, Kirk Bohls. And Kirk, when it comes to the business of college football, there's only one person in America that I want to hear from, and it's not you. It's not you, sir. It's Heather Dinich of ESPN covering the game from pillar to post. And, man, we've had a lot of news in college football here these last couple of weeks. Heather, how are you today?
Oh, I'm not as good as the Texas Sports Writer of the Year, but I'm all right.
Oh, my God.
Congratulations.
Stop it. That is so yesterday's news, but I'll take the love. When the guy called me, I just thought he had lost Kirk's number. So
I got to drive him around. I'm his personal valet now, Heather.
Okay, well, I will, as the Black Susan Lucci, I will accept the award. I was always a bridesmaid, never a bride. So that's a lot of material and a lot of lace, and I'm not wearing white. I'm not wearing white. So,
well, let's dive in.
Yeah.
Where should we start? The playoff or the national championship game? You pick, Heather.
Let's start with the playoff.
Okay.
What do you want to know about the playoff?
Well, these two guys can't agree, and you would think 16 or 24 would serve both of their interests because they're going to get more teams to them. What's the basic genesis of the disagreement between Petiti and Sankey, would you say, Heather?
Well, I think it's just a matter of timing, to be honest. I think there's a very different definition of agree and consider, right? Commit to and consider. And I don't think SEC Commissioner Greg Sankey would not consider a 24-team playoff, especially without automatic qualifiers. But I certainly don't think, at least according to sources, that that's something he's ready to agree to as we sit here at this moment. And you know what? Both Tony Petiti and Greg Sankey have said publicly, it's okay if we stay at 12. We're okay with that. We're okay with another year of data. And particularly from the Big Ten's position, it's worth seeing a year of the SEC and ACC go through a 9-game league schedule and see how the selection committee members decipher between 2 and 3 lost teams, which there are going to be more of. This is before you fire your head coach. They're going to lose football games. So I think that there's not a lot of trust within the Big Ten Conference in the selection committee's ability to sort that out. And so that's their push for 24 teams.
Do you think, and for the people who have been off the planet for the last 3 years, Petiti and Sankey are the commissioners of the Big Ten and SEC, respectively. Do you think that this thing won't expand? Are you saying that it's very possible that it won't be moved? Because they're going to make this decision supposedly this month, right?
That's correct. And when I say, let me be clear, expansion, I believe, is inevitable from talking to sources. There is a lot of momentum for at least a 16-team field. And that's across all the decision makers, right? The question is, when does it happen? And if they can't agree, they being Sankey and Petiti, by January 23rd, then it has to stay at 12 for another year, for another 2 years. My guess is it would be a year while they go back to the drawing board and say, all right, what can we do to make this happen? How do we make it happen? So if it does stay at 12, I don't think it would be for more than a year, but I also know that there's not a desire to continuously kick the can down the road through the next 6-year deal.
Yeah, I like what you said about another year of data and staying at 12. That makes a whole lot of sense. And you would think, spelling it out like you did, the Big Ten would like to maybe wait and see, how that affects the ACC and the SEC. So I don't know if the public is vexed by this, or if they even care. Just tell me what time the games are and who's in, because it's still at an all-time high of popularity, is it not?
Oh, they care if their team can get in.
Well, obviously.
You live in Austin, sir. Come on.
Oh, I'm not saying they don't care about that, but it's not really broken, is it? It's just in a state of flux, right, Heather?
I would agree with that. It is in a state of flux, but if you are Texas or Vanderbilt, you might disagree and say that it is broken. But I also think that when you're dealing with such a subjective, secretive system that operates behind closed doors, there is always, and this is with anything in life, people don't trust what they can't see. So I don't care if it's 24 teams or 42 teams. There's always going to be a question about, no, wait, how did they get 24? There's always going to be a question about the last team out. We know this. We see it with basketball. But the other point to it, guys, I think is the fact that so many coaches have been fired this year. And we've all been doing this a long time. I don't know about you. I've never seen anything like this.
Crazy.
Never.
Nothing
right?
compares. Nothing compares.
Nothing compared to this year. And so much of that had to do with the college football playoff, I believe, right? Oh, right. You're at LSU. You lost 3 games. You're not in the college football playoff. Bye-bye, And are those unrealistic expectations? It's not unrealistic to want to win a national title, and you can at LSU. But I believe it is unrealistic anymore to think that any team, Indiana is bonkers of a story this year, but is going to go 16-0 all the time.
Crazy. That's nuts.
Oh, yeah. I want to get to Indiana in a second, but like you said, they don't trust what they can't see. Nobody trusts committees. And I wrote on the night of the reveal that they got it right. They just went about it the wrong way because, how does Miami jump Notre Dame in the last week when they're behind them in every Tuesday reveal? So that's kind of where I think people, it looks a little shady.
And there are things that I cannot explain as well as I know the system. And I know it very well, having done multiple mocks. But when you have 6 new people in the committee meeting room, think about having dinner every night and then all of a sudden swapping 6 of your family members out. That conversation is going to be different at Thanksgiving, isn't it?
Absolutely. It's not an absolute when you keep changing out numbers. No question about it. Yeah,
it's different.
Well, if they do expand it, they're going to have to tweak the calendar, Heather. I don't think going up against the NFL is good for business for college football. As popular as the game we love is, the NFL is the king, and the NFL is starting to creep in. Oh, we're going to add a Thursday night game on Thanksgiving. Oh, we're going to take a Friday game here, and they've always been doing Saturday games in December. Will these powers that be in college football, are they amenable to moving this schedule up, getting rid of the conference championship games to accommodate an expanded playoff, and then maybe figuring out a way to have the national championship game on New Year's weekend? Is that even possible?
I don't know if the latter is possible as far as condensing it all the way to New Year's. I would love it.
That'd be great.
It would be great. It would be great for college football fans. But the reality of it is yes to the first couple parts of that question. Yes, they would consider starting at week 0, playing more games on week 0. Yes, you have to get rid of the conference championship games at some point. And it's no secret that people have openly questioned the value of them now, which is part of the Big Ten Conference's reason for saying, can you commit to 24 in 2 or 3 years? That's to give everyone time to get rid of their conference championship games, make sure the revenue is there, and answer all these questions that you're asking. And yes, competing against the NFL, part of that's going to be inevitable just because of the crossing paths of where those two sports are in the postseason. And listen, I remember last year watching Texas and Clemson, and my Steelers were on at the same time. And I'm flipping back and forth, like,
Whoa, Heather Dinich. You're not flipping back and forth. You're Heather Dinich. You should have like 4 flat screens in your living room. Stop.
oh my gosh, were we on the record?
Yes, we are. This is
Just between us.
yes.
I'm flipping back and forth.
Oh my God. Get PIP.
Well, you don't have that problem with the Steelers anymore, okay? The
Wow,
Texans
too
solved that for you.
Too soon.
I'm just throwing that out there.
It's a knife. My God.
Well, Aaron Rodgers, he had a couple completions. That was about it. So anyway, so who your Steelers going to hire? Just as a quick aside, you probably want him to hire Marcus Freeman, even though he says he's staying at Notre Dame, right?
He is staying at Notre Dame. Somebody put the joke out, 3 hats, Ravens, Steelers, Notre Dame. And the reality is, if he did that like a recruit, it would be 3 Notre Dame hats. That's how secure he is at Notre Dame.
Well, yeah. you know who they should hire, obviously, right?
Sound Harbaugh.
Kurt Signetti, come on.
No.
There isn't anybody grabbing him.
No,
He's
no.
Berg proud. He's Berg proud. Well,
Not gonna happen.
okay, so to take it back to college football about the Signetti contract in Indiana, when James Franklin left and Indiana locked him up, my first reaction was, who says they're going to be back here next year? Who says they're going to keep winning national titles? Has anyone paid attention to college football lately? Because it could be Vanderbilt next year. I don't know.
Could be. Probably won't, but could be.
Probably won't. That could be.
But said you scoff. I think if I'm an NFL team, what's the worst that could happen if you hired Kirk Signetti? Would that make the Cleveland Browns a loser? I mean, come on. Where's the risk?
We're not talking about the Cleveland Browns. We're talking about the Pittsburgh Steelers.
No, I'm talking about any NFL team.
Well, of course he's viable for any team, but we were talking about the Steelers, sir.
No, I know, but
we're talking about a team that's had 3 head coaches in my whole lifetime. That's
yeah. Oh, I know.
They don't coach jump. They get it. The Roonies get it right, sir. Heather, I was a Steeler fan growing up too. I am a Lynn Swan fan, and I met him once, and I loved it. And I couldn't believe he was so little. But anyway, go ahead, Duck.
But back to Indiana and sustaining it. So after they win the national championship on Monday, and I assume as an IU grad, it's a foregone conclusion, right?
Well, not as an IU grad, but as the way they've destroyed everyone they've played and turned every place into a home game, it's hard not to pick the Hoosiers by double digits on Monday.
All that red, man. All that red.
What's the crowd going to be like in Miami Monday? You think it'll be close to 50-50?
That is one of the biggest questions I have going into this game, and people keep asking me. I'm so curious because, it is a home game. And I would think that it's not just the diehard Miami fans who are coming out. It's the fringe. I live in the state of Florida. I'm going to go see this game because I like the 305, that kind of Miami celeb type crowd. But the ticket prices, guys, are people selling their homes to go to this game?
Stop.
It's a football game. You got to live somewhere.
It's crazy, but I could tell you.
Watch it on TV.
I was talking to a friend, and we both agreed. People in the Midwest, man, they just get in their cars. They're like, "Where's the game? How are you gonna drive? We'll get there. We'll figure it out when we get there."
Nice.
Well, I just think, like you said, Indiana's just been steamrolling everybody. They got so much momentum, so much age and experience on their side. Plus, I'm just not a Carson Beck guy. I'm sorry. He's not the same quarterback under pressure. And, boy, we've seen that Indiana defense just come after people. So, is there any way this is a competitive game?
I think it could be competitive early. But when I was at the Fiesta Bowl, and when I watched Miami and those pre-snap penalties and just the mistakes, I'm like, in my head, you cannot do this against Indiana and get away with it. No. You can't. They are so disciplined. But I can't tell you how many games I've seen through the course of my career where teams are on a stage and do things they don't usually do. And you're just like, whoa. I don't expect that from Indiana at all. But remember Georgia, TCU. Not only did Georgia smack the daylights out of TCU, but TCU did stuff they didn't do all year long, Right. So I'm kind of curious because both of these stories are bizarre. These are 2 Cinderella stories. in college football. I promise you, on selection day, Saturday night going into Sunday morning, that committee flipped these teams and voted over and over and over again.
I wonder how many votes they had.
You know what? No one in America had Miami, Indiana in the championship. No one. No one had that.
Hey, Sid and I were at Aggie-Land, weren't we, Sid, when they barely got by A&M? We're standing right in that end zone when Marcel Reed throws that interception. And I don't know, it was just stunning. I mean, to see A&M kind of dissolve against them. But everybody else has,
Yeah.
So when you say competitive early, do you mean like the first 3 or 4 minutes? Is that what you're talking about, or longer?
You don't really think they're going to work Miami? I mean, I'm really interested to know, Heather. Do you really think they're going to? I mean, they're going to beat them by 14 points. You see that?
I see that. I do. I think Carson Beck's going to turn the ball over. Indiana scored 21 points off turnovers in the last game. So, it's not like, oh my gosh, it's not like the Steelers and the Texans where they just turn the ball over and then, Pittsburgh couldn't do anything with it. Indiana will do something with the ball. And I like Fernando Mendoza, even if he does turn it over like he did against Penn State, that one interception that he had, I mean, just the next drive.
He's a rock.
It's incredible. Yeah. So
it's like 30. So yeah.
Yeah. He's so poised. He's so mature. He's the total package for any NFL team. And to me, he's the only quarterback in the draft that I think is really
ready.
Yeah.
Oh, I totally agree. He looked good in the Steeler uniform.
And Heather, I got to brag on Kirk. Me and Kirk, we both voted Fernando Mendoza for the Heisman Trophy because what we value most is character and integrity. We don't want someone to soil that hallowed trophy that we vote for. We never would have voted for someone like Diego Pavia, would we, Kirk? Crickets.
Can I take that?
Red Hair Kills podcast. Say something, sir.
Can I take the vote back? I mean, I didn't know he was going to go off on a bender and act like a spoiled 6-year-old. I don't know that. I just felt like, Diego was Vanderbilt. And I just thought, as great as Mendoza is, and I love him, I think he's surrounded by so much more talent than Diego was. So that's the reason I voted for him.
Vince Young was Texas, and you didn't vote for him.
And now here you are. It's only been 20 years. You're dredging that up again. You see what I go through on a weekly basis, Heather? It's just not fun.
It's fish in a barrel, man. This is so easy. This is so easy for me.
But
I do need to ask you this. I read where they voted. Coaches met in Charlotte, and they voted. They want the red shirt rule to expand, and you can play 9 games and still retain your red shirt. And that's an official vote because it's got to be approved. But anyway, let me ask you this. Does that even matter anymore in the world that we're living in with this money flying around? Who is going to play 5 years of college football?
Yeah, you're right. I agree with you. It doesn't feel like it. It feels like people will be at 5 schools in all 5 years if they can, with the way everybody's moving around. Does it matter? And maybe it matters in these NCAA eligibility cases we're seeing so many of right now. I think that might be the piece of the puzzle. Well, he, played however many of these games as a redshirt year. I mean, that's the only thing that I can think of, to be honest, off the top of my head, but I haven't given it too much thought.
The Sarkisian wants just a straight 5 years. You get
it should be. Quit playing these math games. Just 9 games, 12 games. What's the difference? Just go to 5 years. That makes all the sense in the world. So, 2 things I want to ask before we let you go. Indiana, you talked about sustaining it. And I don't know about said, but I was so shocked. I didn't know Indiana had the largest living alumni base in the country, 805,001 being Heather Dinich. And so that's a great recipe for success, is it not? As far as the NIL?
It is. You're absolutely right. And to be perfectly clear, I didn't know that either until, I don't know, maybe a couple of months ago. Somebody told me, actually, it may have been a Penn State grad who told me that, because
they're number two. They're number two.
That's what I thought. I thought Penn State had the most, and they were like, no, it's actually Indiana. I was surprised by that.
Do you give $1 million a year to NIL to Indiana?
Oh yeah, sure. That I give $1 million a year to the orthodontist for my 3 boys.
Wow.
You better save those coins.
I hate to see those choppers. Wow.
Well, I told somebody today, I was like, forget college. No one can afford college. You need to save for orthodontics, and what was the other thing that I told her? Oh, childcare. That's what it is. Yeah.
Oh yeah, childcare.
That's where we're at. So to answer your question, yes, because and we've seen this with Texas Tech, although more so with one particular booster, right? But the reality is, if you have the fan base and the alumni base that's willing to contribute, then you're in a position to succeed. But I think what we've also seen is the difference with Indiana this year is, yeah, they used the transfer portal, but they used the transfer portal to be JMU West. Okay, let's be clear. They weren't getting Joe Burrows left and right here. This wasn't 2019 LSU or 2020 Alabama. What Kurt Signetti has done is unprecedented. He's taken the worst football program in the world and has them playing for the national title, but he's done it with a bunch of 0-star kids. Yes, he has the quarterback. Yes. But a lot of these guys are day 2 draft picks, the best players on the team probably. So it's different. And when you try to put this into historical context and talk about the portal, yeah, it's something that you can build on, but I don't think it should be lost what he's built now with in a different way and how important that locker room is. Because the guys on his staff have been there 11, 12 years. The players are guys who've been there with him from JMU. And that's a value. And it is harder to find that in the transfer portal era.
This might be the last time we see something like this. I don't see him, as great as he is, I just don't see him doing that again. I mean, it's just too much money. And that's why it's really imperative that they win this championship, because I think it's an outlier. What he's done is a damn miracle. It's a miracle.
It is.
To run the table with that team, I mean.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to win.
In that vein, maybe he should be coaching the Steelers, if that's how good he is.
There you go.
I mean, you won me over, Duck. First,
I knew I would.
Everything. First,
I knew I would. I don't even know how many JMU players he's got. Has he got like 20 or 25? I don't even know how many. The number.
It was half his transfer class. I don't think it was that many.
Yeah, it's
maybe
a lot, though.
7 to 10, I think.
Yeah, but they're all such big contributors. That is so. And the last thing I want to ask you is it a foregone conclusion Texas wins it all next year? That clearly won the portal, obviously.
What like qualifying, Mom?
Wow, boy, he is just incorrigible. I'm back on the wagon. I need to text him and tell us, like, we stop jinxing them every year. He's back on the Arch Manning wagon. Oh, good Lord, Paul.
Paul's my buddy. I will tell you this. People love to throw out preseason predictions, especially at this time of the year. Right. They love it. And you know what? I don't care. I had Penn State 1 and I had Clemson 2, and I will unabashedly tell you I would do it again, knowing what I knew then. It's not my fault they lost those games with all those NFL players.
Kirk, tell her what I had.
Oh, he had.
I had the same thing.
Yeah, Penn State.
I had Penn State beating Clemson in the championship, and I had Cade Klubnik as my Heisman.
So here you are making fun of my Diego Pavia vote when you had Klubnik, who barely finished the season.
We all know this. We as sports writers, we make predictions in August when no one knows what the hell it's going to be, but we do it with the information we have at the time. And on paper, no one was better. You had 10 guys turn down the NFL at Penn State to come back.
Yes.
You telling me I was off?
Way off. Way off.
I pick a top 25 every January. Penn State was number 1 on mine in January. Then I flipped to the Longhorns, who at least won 10 games. So, but
they lost to Florida.
It's going to serve Texas better if they're not preseason number 1 next year. But they look really good on paper, don't they, Heather?
They do. Listen, I mean, as long as you don't drop a game like Florida, you'll stay in the committee's good graces throughout the season. But you can argue the flip side of that because they had some really good wins. So this goes back to the strength of schedule question, but Texas, because they did have a really good argument. I mean, they the Aggies were number 1, I think, at that time. It's a big deal.
Yeah, they beat Aggies, beat Oklahoma, 2 playoff teams. So
head-to-head.
Yeah, couldn't recover an onside kick in Georgia. That hurt too. So, but it's going to be interesting though. There'll be a little bit of arch hype, I think, between now and next kickoff.
Are you going to be in Miami this weekend, Heather?
Yes, I am. I'm looking forward to it.
Well, Kirk Bohls will also be in Miami, so y'all may need to get together for some libations. But thank you so much for joining us, my friend. And she's Heather Dinich, and you're not. We appreciate it, Heather.
You guys are the best. Thank you so much for having me on. I love them. We should have these weekly meetings. We'll figure out all the Steelers problems. I love it.
We'll see you in Miami, girl.
All right. See ya.
Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Doug, what a great conversation. She is the absolute best. She's the authority on the business of college football because she is embedded in that thing, and she's got all the sources, and she's fun to talk to as well.
Yeah, it's terrible. She just had such a bad personality.
Oh, I know. She's got to emerge. She's got to
get out of her shell.
Being such a wallflower, Heather.
That was a lot of fun. That was a lot of fun.
What we didn't talk to her about was this portal thing. I mean, the portal and in NIL. Let me tell you, the Longhorns did win. They won, Duck. And we were wondering, okay, Sark, are you going to make a splash? He made a splash, Duck.
It's
made a splash. You got Cam Coleman, over $2 million from what we hear. Then he gets Hollywood Smothers, a great running back. I got no complaints, but still, as of this taping on Wednesday, no offensive lineman yet?
Got one. Yeah, he got one from Oregon State. Dylan Sikorsky. But he only needs like 10 more. Then he'll be fine.
How about 2 more? They're still. I think they're Wisconsin guys still. Bruner might still be in there.
Well, the Colorado guy, Jordan Seaton, was a 5-star guy, just massive, and he entered the portal a day or so ago. So he would be huge. And one thing I wrote in my 9 things this week is that a lot of these guys they're signing aren't getting revenue share money. They're getting like arranging corporate deals. So with the collectives going away, you got to pay them through NIL and revenue sharing. And that's the advantage because, you don't see too many Arch Mannings getting national TV spots, for Uber and Warby Parker and Vuori, but, Manning transcends all that. But, Austin's such a great business community, and you get Texas connections there, and you have more than 50 Fortune 500 companies headquartered in Austin. You got access to some NIL money there that not every school does.
Yeah, and that way you don't need the school to not have to worry about it, because I was reading a good Ty Simpson. Ole Miss in Tennessee, upwards of $5-6 million for Ty.
Or even saw $7 million. I mean, goodness gracious.
It's Ty Simpson, who's a quarterback, but we don't even know if he's an NFL guy yet. I don't know.
I think he is.
You think, but you don't know.
No, who knows? Who knew Brock Purdy? He was Mr. Irrelevant, and he's been the starter for years there.
$6 million to play college football. I'd never leave college.
And some don't. Some don't leave college.
35-year-old sophomore.
That's it. That's why I throw that in the face of people that say, there's no loyalty anymore. Well, he's loyal. He's loyal to the Crimson Tide program, the legacy. He wanted his legacy to be there. And yeah, he didn't win big, but, he was still protective of, that reputation, of that image. So I really respect people like him and Quinn Ewers for staying at the school they're at, instead of some of these guys. I mean, remember JT Daniels? I think he may have been at 5 different schools. Max Johnson, the old Aggie quarterback. I mean, I don't know. He may be on his 10th conference by now. I mean, the way he moves around. So, but yeah, the last ranking I saw had Texas number 2 behind LSU, and part of that is LSU got a quarterback and Sam Leavitt. But they had 24. They had 11 more players than Texas did. Texas just has 13, which is still an all-time high for Sark. But the thing I love the most is that you got a couple linebackers, you got a couple of top running backs, and Cam Coleman is a guy with a big catch radius, makes contested catches, which Texas didn't always do this past season. So you got a home run threat and Coleman and the running back Hollywood Smothers, who I even heard this week somebody compared him to Jahmyr Gibbs.
Oh wow, that's scary.
Yeah, he had a lot of 20 plus runs for NC State before he committed and then flipped from Alabama to Texas.
Hey, got to go where the money is. If you're gonna be in that portal, you go where the money is.
Yeah,
you just never know. So before we get out of here, Duck, our friend Vic Schaefer, we had him on the podcast last week, and he was very outspoken about having to play LSU and South Carolina back-to-back in his schedule. And he said it was a vendetta against Texas, and that kind of blew up in his face. And he issued basically a mea culpa, saying he loves the conference, he loves the school. We know that Vic is very competitive, and Vic is on the short list of best coaches in the country. His record speaks for itself. Do you think he was taking a shot at his own school for not stepping up to the SEC and going, hey, why is our team getting this gauntlet of a schedule? Even though I think Missouri has the same schedule.
No, it sounded like it to me, but quite frankly, I didn't really understand it. I mean, you didn't play them on back-to-back nights. It's from Sunday to Thursday, so you had time to, I think, 18, 19, 20-year-old young women have time to recover.
Oh, they're in shape. They're in shape.
When it's Sunday to Thursday. So I think more it was just a product of his anger overall after losing to LSU on the road and that kind of performance that they put. To me, it's just kind of, it's not crying over spilt milk, but come on, you're Texas. You're number 2. You're like undefeated. It's the first piece of adversity you really have had, although they've had their share of injuries that hurts their depth. So I didn't really understand, why he was that upset over the schedule. Did you?
No, not at all. Not at all. And I understand that Vic's very competitive, and he's one of those people who he wears his heart on his sleeve.
He does.
Well, I love the honesty
Yeah.
of Vic Schaefer. I do, Duck. I love the honesty of Vic. And
He doesn't hide. He doesn't hide from his true feelings. You're right.
doesn't. And he's very protective of his team. He's very proud of his team. And for me, it doesn't get any better than that. And we just love covering him. He's fun. He's accessible. And, what more could you ask? And if he's not going to fight for his team, who will?
Let me ask you this. While I asked him about benching Rory for the entire fourth quarter and 2 minutes and 23 seconds of the third quarter. So almost 15 minutes of the 20-minute second half. You do not have your All-American on the floor. Smart decision or not? Even though she wasn't playing well, 1 for 7, 3 assists, 2 turnovers. What's your view of that?
I'm not a basketball coach, but somewhere in that fourth quarter, the best point guard in America back in the game,
I
and
agree.
just to see
Yeah.
if she's going to figure it out. Because the one thing we know about Rori Harmon is Rory will figure it out, and Rory, and they play at South Carolina tonight. Rori Harmon's going to have a big game against South Carolina because she always comes back from a bad game with a big time performance because she's a dog and she knows what she's doing. I just think I would have given her a look just to see. And Bree Preston played well. Maybe I put her in there with take Jordan Lee out for a spell because Jordan's minutes were up and Jordan wasn't shooting very well. So I would have given her a look in the fourth quarter. That's his extension. She's his coach on the floor. So I was surprised that she did not log 1 minute in the fourth quarter.
I'm like you. I might have played her maybe half of the fourth quarter. Because he was trying to send a message, make it a statement. I'll bench anybody. I'll bench my mother if she's not producing on the court. That was his attitude. But to me personally, I thought he went too far with that. And Brianna Preston's an excellent player. She just doesn't have the experience that Rory does. And
This is how you get it. This is how
she doesn't play defense like Rory does. Rory is such a defensive pest.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's a great team. It's going to be interesting to watch South Carolina game tonight. And I agree with you. I think Rori Harmon will respond in a big way. The other hidden thing about all this is Madison Booker getting 2 early fouls in that first quarter. We saw her getting 3 at the Final Four semis against South Carolina. He got that third foul right in front of you and me. And that killed them. They were dead after that.
Because then there were 2 fouls in that game, in this game, the LSU game, and she's still reaching and making careless decisions on defense. Once you have 2 fouls and your coach is trusting you to be in that game, you need to back off a little bit. You don't have every play doesn't have to be a steal. You got to just play basic defense and keep your hands to yourself because the wrong ref will call you for that third foul. And they're as deep as they are, they're not good enough, I think, to win a national championship with Madison Booker in foul trouble. They just aren't.
No, and they got to get a Crump back and Sid Berry, and just got to get a little bit healthier so they have a little bit more depth. But you and I have always kind of talked. She just needs to be smarter. She's competitive in her own way as Rory is, but she's got to be smarter, on defense.
All right, before we get out of here, NFL. They're down to 4 teams. Buffalo at Denver, Houston at New England in the AFC. Who you got?
Well, you do know I picked all 6 games right so far.
Did you really?
Yeah.
Well, old Sage of Sage, give me who's going to win these 4 games. The other 2 are at San Fran, at Seattle, and the Rams at Chicago. So since you're going to run the table, Mr. Bohls,
I'd say
tell us who's going to win this weekend. Tell us who's going to win the conference championship games, and then we'll save your Super Bowl pick for next week because there's no way you're getting all of these right this weekend.
Not a chance. I like Denver at home, rested. Buffalo's got to travel there. Buffalo finally ended that road losing string, and I picked Buffalo to beat the hot Jaguars because they got Josh Allen. They were just due. I just don't know if that's going to carry over another week in Denver. So I got Denver. I've got Seattle probably beating San Francisco without George Kittle. I think that's going to hurt them.
Houston and New England.
I got New England, but I love that Houston defense. Golly, it's so violent. They don't just tackle you; they crush you. So I got New England in that one, and I'm probably going to go with the Rams because, I have to go with the Rams because they're my Super Bowl winners. But I love Matt Stafford. I love Puka Nacua. But, boy, Caleb Williams has got that clutch gene.
He's that clutch gene. And who hosted Caleb Williams' coming out party as a football player?
That would be your Longhorns.
The Texas Longhorns, 4th down.
Yeah.
It was what, 70 yards? I don't remember. It was a long run and
came in for Spencer Rattler, remember?
And that's why when we were introduced to one Caleb Williams, and look at him now.
Yes, he's come of age.
With his fingernails painted and he's living his best life. Good for you, Caleb.
Well, that 4th and 3 was the biggest play of their season.
Biggest
play.
The
Packers. Yeah, go ahead.
All right. I'm going to go Buffalo to beat Denver.
Oh,
I
why?
don't trust Bo Nix as far in this offense as far as I can throw it. I do not. They are a sack. They are a sack bunch. They lead the league. They're on pace to better the 85 Bears in sacks.
Yeah.
There is, but I think Josh Allen is got the secret sauce. He can get away from pass rush, and he will rush for 40 yards, and James Cook's going to get unleashed. Watch it. Seattle will be San Francisco. San Francisco, Fred Warner says he might play this week, but I don't think they can overcome the loss of George Kittle.
That hurts.
I mean, New England at home. C.J. Stroud was just best to give that game away. I think he'll play better, but Nico Collins is in concussion protocol, and it didn't look pretty. That's his concussion in like 4 weeks, Doug. I don't think he's going to play in that game, and they can't beat him without Nico Collins.
And Christian Kirk probably not going to have a game like that again, probably.
Not when he's facing Christian Gonzalez on the other side.
Yeah.
That's not going to happen. Give me the Rams at Chicago. The Rams are the most veteran team in these playoffs. They've won before. They've got the best quarterback going. And I think that running back duo, Blake Corum and Kyron Williams, with a healthy Devontae Adams and Puka is going to be enough. Poona Ford quietly having a great year in the middle for the Rams at Texas X, who once lied to us in a presser, but we still love you, Poona. We still love you, Poona. Said they didn't have a players meeting, and Connor Williams goes, yeah, we did. Don't do that to us. Come on, Poona.
Hey, are you picking Indiana? Are you picking Indiana?
Of course.
Yeah, me too.
The best team is going to win this game.
Yeah. Well, you and I picked them from the outset. They are the best team.
And maybe the Longhorns can't beat Carson Beck, but I bet Fernando Mendoza and Kirk Signetti can beat Carson Beck.
I hope it's a good game, though.
I think it will be for a while, but I really think, like Heather Dinich said, it's going to be a double-digit win. Duck, I want you to get down there. I know you're old. I want you to get down there on that Miami sideline before the game and get some photos of the luminaries that are going to be at that game. Ray Lewis, Adrian James. Stay away from Michael Irvin. He's scared.
Oh, yeah.
Stay away from Michael Irvin.
He's scared everybody.
But Ray Lewis, Adrian James, all of the luminaries, Reggie Wayne, Ed Reed.
They got a few.
Rock.
I wonder if The Rock will be there.
The Rock will be there. The Rock will be there. There's going to be some star power at that game. But, sir, safe travels. Get back here in one piece, and we will reconvene next week. Thank you so much for joining us on Second Thought, and we will see you next time.
That's a wrap. You've just experienced On Second Thought, powered by Hookem.com. Want more? Join Sed and Kirk every Thursday for a fun sports ride from the ATX. Find archived episodes anytime on YouTube, Apple, Google Play, and Yahoo.